Jonathon Gill's the next speaker. Jonathon is first of a duo of speakers from Harper Adams. Jonathon is a mechatronics researcher, it says on the website, a qualified robotic engineer with 10 years' experience of mechatronic systems. He's part of Harper Adams' National Centre for Precision Farming, and I know him best as the animateur behind the hands-free Hectare, which we've read so much about in the trade press. So I think he's very well placed to go and describe how robotics might be able to help us in cropping systems. Jonathon, the floor's yours.
Thank you ever so much, and welcome everybody. My name's Jonathon Gill. I am the co-developer of the hands-free Hectare. Hands up, who's heard of the hands-free Hectare? Ah, yes, this is good. This is a good sign. Okay, so the hands-free Hectare, the concept to produce a crop without ever going into it in the first place by using entirely robots. We did this with Harper Adams and Precision Decisions, and we managed to get Innovate UK money to kind of show it was possible. Because you never guess what, 3 years ago, everybody thought it was impossible. But now we've managed to achieve it. The idea was to have a perfect Hectare to showcase the capability of running the full automation cycle throughout their entire field. What we wanted to do was actually drill, look after the plants, have some harvesting, and fly drones over to get the husbandry correct. The most important part is to actually make sure we're looking after plants correctly, not just having some scraggy bits of wheat growing in a corner made by robots. We wanted to utilize machinery that was not bespoke by us. We wanted to use standard agricultural machines, but have been enhanced by modern design. And we wanted to do it in ways that it was accessible to everybody. So everybody's heard of open source. The idea was to use open source technology to do that. And we had one chance to do it. So here's a video just to explain that it's really happening. This is not pie in the sky, it's the capabilities of our robotic tractor. We've got an Izeki TLE 3400, and it is a 40 horsepower tractor running in the field with a direct drill, planting, spraying our crop in the standard methodologies that we do in our normal fields at the moment, except having some slight more increased precision with variable nozzle rates and certain things on our particular field. And to show it wasn't a fluke, we also harvested it as well with a 25-year-old combine, just to really show that this technology could be added to anything in the first place. And this was probably a heartfelt moment when we actually had the full rolling team of both vehicles running together, harvesting and collecting at the same time, while also having a drone fly over it at the very first place. But why? Why were we doing this? We didn't want to necessarily just do it because I love robots, and admittedly I do, but there was proper reason behind it. So the reason is, and we've kind of heard it before, is that food production's just going up very slightly, but we've got this 1,000 catastrophe where population is skyrocketing, and we're not able to actually catch up in between that intersection. The current aims of agriculture is that we're dealing with fields is just one large whole field. And maybe some of us are going down into subfield sections just to break it up and deal with it in a bit more precise manner. But anybody who's kind of used to home gardening actually has that single plant methodology where they want to look after plants in their own way and give them exactly what they need. So what we wanted to really do is actually grow this food in the best possible way, increasing efficiencies and reducing waste. It kind of makes sense. And the only kind of way we can think about doing that is by using robots. The ideas of how we got there started with, well, okay, we've got smart machines, we've got a horse actually pulling along a plow, but it still requires a person to be behind it. We've had the Industrial Revolution where we had very large machines able to do the same actuation over fields and grow things. And then the kind of optimum age where we grew more crops than we have ever done in the UK ever was during the wartime, where we had that little grey Fergie. Has anybody got one of those at home? Yeah, a few of you in there. Yeah, still working, I bet. Yeah, exactly. So that idea still's not going to die. But now we've all gone on to these very large machines. And the further you are away from the ground, my personal belief is that you're actually getting away from the soil that we're meant to be looking after. Maybe the future is robots. which we can control with our phone and everything else. We've got problems with reduced raw labour. We have ever larger machines because we have less and less people to run them. We've got limited time windows, so we need to have the larger machines to run in the ground and actually work the land quicker. There's also that one-upmanship. I want to have a better tractor than my neighbour because I can. And there's always this idea, more power will solve the problem. It doesn't necessarily cause that. So there's this idea, small robot solution. Could we start growing crops with small robots not having that compaction on the ground? Could you increase yield from not having compaction? Well, I personally believe so. And can you have improved resolution, getting down to that single plant level that I alluded to earlier? Robots can operate in swarms. Now we haven't got an operator sat on the seat. We can have multiples all together, running together in fleets, kind of like the red arrows, all working in our field. Now, jobs are retained because we have to have swarm management systems, and the small vehicles are intrinsically safer. But we don't necessarily going to adopt the small, smart robot solution at the moment. Is there a happy medium? And we thought the Grey Fergie was a good start. How did we do the agronomy? Well, you can see some rather fancy pictures there with aerial photographs from a drone system. But nobody really tells you that a silver bullet isn't a drone and it can't tell you exactly what's going on in the field. We had to do some real agronomy in our field, so we made a small scout vehicle that could physically take samples from the areas that weren't looking great and not. So we made a little scout digging vehicle to physically collect samples. The field operations we did in our field on the very first year were 10 separate operations, and there would be the standard operations that you'd do normally within a field. We did our fungicides, T2s. We had harvest desiccant because we didn't want to go through green crop, but we also harvested as well, completely without going into the field and having the entire vehicle run autonomously. It was an absolutely fantastic achievement because it broke down this barrier that it was completely impossible. We completed it and we started again. Now we didn't have to make a vehicle drive autonomously. We could allow ourselves to have some improvements. So we had an extra increase of 2.5% to allow us to not have so many compacted areas. We could have straighter lines and we yielded it even better. Now it might not be a record-breaking yield, but it is a record-breaking solution that nobody had actually done in the world before. Not even your big green company tractors or the big red ones had managed to achieve growing a crop without ever going into a field. So we're quite excited by that. What did we do with it though? This is the fun part. Well, we made gin. It's a good way to actually relax after, and we wanted to have a good way of celebrating it. The second most exciting way to really prove provenance is actually having a pizza made from the wheat that you literally just harvested from the field. So taken by my perfect partner, she had field to plate where we were milling the wheat in the field and making pizzas at the same time. And we managed to make about 40 pizzas that day before we'd managed to finish harvesting our entire field. A proper whole meal pizza. Awesome. Okay, I'm running out of time, admittedly, but the idea is that we're not making robots to take away your jobs. We're trying to make fleet managers, agronomists, and programmers all work together. We can see this picture here. It's the year 2000. We're meant to already be running robots in our fields, and we're 19 years behind. We finally managed to catch up, but it's really exciting to see where we can go from there. What we've managed to do with the Hands-Free Hectare was have good publicity towards agriculture. We really wanted to have a good story. It's all doom and gloom at the moment, but luckily we managed to have this Twitter, Facebook, YouTube feed that we could do, warts and all, what was going right and wrong with our project, but also showed in real time how things were going. And we're very proud to say that we actually won the BBC Good Food and Farming Awards last year. So that makes me very happy indeed. The robots are coming, and it's not just us. I've been traveling around the world being a Nuffield scholar, and we've got companies like Kubota, Swarm Farm, C.Run with a giant seeding robot and spraying system, and multiple fleet vehicles running from Hokkaido University in Japan. Amazing things are coming, and it is really possible. But now we've broken down the walls that it's impossible not, we can now start showing how it's going to go ahead. The next things that we're trying to work for is not show that it's just a perfect hectare that you can work these on. We want to push further and have larger areas. Maybe a hands-free farm would be an exciting way to go. If you are interested in adopting precision agriculture and technology, we are now running a course with the Worshipful Company of Farmers, my Nuffield sponsor, to enable you to learn a little bit more. It's starting in November. If you are interested, come and grab the flyers from me at the front there when we're doing questions. So thank you.